Some evenings are just, well, built for spectacle, aren't they? Not the flashy kind, with tickets and big crowds, but that quiet, living kind.
Yeah, definitely.
Imagine the sun just melting into the hills, the water's still, and there's this deep, almost primal anticipation. You feel like something truly remarkable is about to happen.
It's those moments where nature just kind of reminds you of its power, its delicate balance, often in the most unexpected places, too. Shows you how adaptable it can be.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what we're diving into today on the Deep Dive. We're exploring this fascinating union of natural geology and human engineering.
Right.
It created one of the most incredible biological events, really, in the American Southeast. We're talking about the federally endangered gray bat.
Myotis grisons.
Yes, and its connection to Nickajack Bat Cave. We were inspired by this amazing account, A Paddle with the Night Shift, Gray Bats at Nickajack Bat Cave by Clyde Outside.
It's a great piece.
It really is. And this isn't just like a fun fact, it's a powerful real-world example of how human activity, sometimes completely unintentionally, can intersect with nature to create these new, vital ecosystems.
Yeah, our mission today is really to unpack how this cave, which was once dry, became such a critical sanctuary. We'll trace its surprising transformation.
Sure.
We'll try to understand why gray bats are so particular about where they live. And then we'll sort of immerse ourselves, virtually at least, in that just breathtaking sight of hundreds of thousands of bats emerging into the twilight. It's a powerful story. Adaptation, unexpected synergy.
Okay, so to really get this transformation, we need to picture Nickajack Cave as it used to be, like a dry cavern stretching deep into these limestone ridges of the Cumberland Plateau.
Right, and this isn't just any old rock we're talking about. It's specific Mississippian-aged limestone.
Okay.
Part of what geologists call a karst landscape.
Karst, right. So that means like sinkholes, underground rivers,
Yep.
that kind of thing.
Exactly. Think of it like rock that's just riddled with natural plumbing. Sinkholes, springs, and these, the source calls them solutionally enlarged voids.
Right.
Basically, huge passages and chambers carved out over millennia by water rushing underground. So originally a dry, geological wonder.
But then things changed.
Yeah.
1967, human intervention.
Yep. The Tennessee Valley Authority, the TVA, they completed the Nickajack Dam.
The TVA, they manage a lot of the dams and power in that region.
They do, and building that dam, well, it changed everything for this specific cave.
How so?
Well, the dam directly led to the flooding of the cave's lower chambers, and that flooding created Nickajack Lake right up to and into the cave mouth.
Wow.
And what's fascinating here is this wasn't just like a change in the map, it triggered a huge ecological shift.
Right.
This new environment inside the cave entrance, suddenly both wet and crucially stable in temperature, it unexpectedly became this perfect roosting site.
An unforeseen sanctuary, really, just sprung up from this engineering project. But perfect for whom? And why was it so perfect?
Exactly. Perfect for this highly specialized species, the gray bat, Myotis grisescens.
Okay.
And the why is fascinating because, first off, they're federally endangered. So right away, high conservation concern.
Yeah, very vulnerable.
And they're also, as the source says, extremely picky about where they roost.
Picky bats.
Very picky. Unlike a lot of other bat species that might, spread out in smaller groups, gray bats congregate in large numbers, huge numbers.
How large?
We're talking 100,000 or more within Nickajack Bat Cave.
100. I mean, that's just staggering. 100,000 bats in one cave. Why there? What makes it so special for them?
Well, they have these really specific requirements. They need deep, warm, humid environments, especially for their summer maternity colonies.
For raising the young.
Precisely. Nickajack Cave, post-dam, fits the bill perfectly. It offers this constant temperature, vital access to water right at the entrance, and importantly, minimal human disturbance.
Because it's partly flooded.
Yeah, partly. Those conditions let the female bats safely raise their pups. It's become this critical nursery for the species.
Okay, so they've got this perfect protected nursery. They rest during the day, but then sun goes down. These picky residents get busy, right?
Oh yeah, they're nocturnal foragers. Every evening, they emerge en masse to feed.
What are they eating out there?
Their diet is mainly insects, primarily moths, beetles, and aquatic insects, which makes sense with the lake right there. And what's really remarkable is their foraging range. They often fly 20 miles or more in a single night looking for food.
20 miles, that's That's an epic commute for a tiny bat.
It really is. Think about the energy involved.
Does that huge range mean they're vulnerable to stuff happening far away from the cave itself, like pesticides, habitat loss miles away?
That's a really important point, yes. While the cave itself is a safe haven, their reliance on that broad foraging area means the health of the surrounding environment, yeah, even miles away, directly impacts their survival.
Wow.
It just underscores how interconnected these ecosystems are, you know?
Definitely. And it sounds like this cave specifically offers really good security from like direct human interference.
Yeah.
Which must be huge for an endangered species.
It does. That partial submersion we mentioned acts as a kind of physical barrier. It basically fences out humans, keeps them from going deep into the roosting areas.
Nature's own defense?
Kind of. And on top of that, there's also a protective gate at the cave mouth. A physical gate.
Ah, okay, so legal protection too.
Right. It legally prevents visitors from entering and disturbing this really critical roosting site.
So you can watch, but not interfere. Like Clyde Outside described, paddling just close enough to feel the boundary.
Exactly. A respectful distance, which seems like a very effective setup.
Okay, so let's paint that picture. The sun's starting to set, you're out on the water, maybe in a kayak like Clyde Outside was, paddling towards this kind of shadowy bluff. There must be this incredible sense of anticipation. What does that emergence actually look like?
Well, imagine the sun just melting into those hills across the lake. Beautiful evening light. At first, you might just see these really subtle stirrings, almost like ripples in the air near the cave mouth. It's quiet, the anticipation is building, but it's almost imperceptible at first.
And then the main event.
And then suddenly, they poured from the cave mouth. Just poured, not just a few, thousands upon thousands, forming this thick black ribbon against the orange-pink sky.
A ribbon of bats.
Yeah, the sheer number is just overwhelming. Yet the source notes something interesting. The sound is incredibly subtle.
Really? With that many?
Yeah, just the sound of a bat wing flapping almost. Despite, countless thousands, it's like the silent explosion of life. A dark cloud turning into a flowing river.
That imagery, a thick black ribbon against the orange-pink sky, that's just incredible. And Clyde Outside mentions finding the best vantage point, a little ways out from the cave, right? Facing west.
Yes, exactly. Being a few hundred yards out, facing west, lets you see the emergence silhouetted against the fading light.
Ah, makes sense.
It creates what the source calls a perfect stage for biology in action. It really highlights that this isn't just some random swarm. It's orchestrated. It's ancient.
Yeah, the source emphasizes it's not just a tourist moment.
No, definitely not.
It's the continuation of an ancient rhythm, one that predates highways and Hondas, dams and docks.
These bats, or at least their ancestors, have likely used this cave system for millennia, long before the dam, long before us.
That sense of deep time just makes it even more profound, doesn't it?
It really does. It's such a powerful reminder that even in landscapes that we've profoundly altered with our engineering, nature often finds a way. It persists. And sometimes, like here, it even thrives in completely unforeseen ways. That resilience is just, well, it's remarkable.
So let's wrap this up. What's the big takeaway here? We've seen how this major engineering project, the Nickajack Dam, kind of inadvertently created a vital sanctuary for an endangered species. It really showcases nature's incredible resilience, its adaptability.
Right, and it reminds us that, science isn't always a textbook or a lab.
Yeah.
It's often a living system playing out in real time, right in front of us, really, if we just know where to look.
If we know where to look. And I guess that leads us to a final thought, maybe a question for you, the listener. What other unexpected ecological synergies like this might be hiding out there in our own human-altered landscapes? Maybe in your backyard or your local park.
Yeah, how can you maybe develop your own Clyde Outside approach, that knack for knowing where to look for these hidden biological treasures right in your own environment?
It really is about staying curious, isn't it? Looking a little closer, maybe even in places you think you know really well.
Definitely.
Because sometimes, as we've learned today, you just have to know where to look and maybe, just maybe, bring a kayak.